Joe Diomede, TTRP TV, sitting here in the back of the Grand Jet. For my viewers who are used to seeing the Grand Jet, this is a different view from the back. And sitting next to me is Martha Tilston, a folk singer from Cornwall in England, or Cornouailles, as they say in France. So anyway, Martha is, she got roped into a concert tonight in the Grand Jet. She met Ben at the market last week and said, hey, why don't you go check out our little venue and do a concert? And I guess Martha was thinking, why not? So here she is, Martha from Cornwall, you folk singer, Martha Tilston. For those, there's some people out there who may know her. I personally don't. So, I mean, I know her for 10 minutes, and so that's cool. And so, Martha, tell me, yeah, she liked that. She liked that. So, yeah, my team didn't do the research. Sorry. So I was. This is gonna be fun. So anyway, she's still laughing, and this is live. Martha, you ready? Okay. So anyway, Martha, she's well known though. She is. Just because I don't know her doesn't.
That's so brilliantly honest. I've had interviews with people and they've like, we've like it's like even being like for a film coming out or an album, and and they'll try and talk around it like they've heard it and they haven't. And then I click within like a few minutes. You can click that they haven't heard the thing, and then it becomes this weird theatre where they're pretending they've heard it. I'm pretending that they have too. So I just really appreciate you going. I have no idea who you are.
Well, thank you, because I was thinking of doing the same thing, but I was like, why should I do? I watched about 4 minutes of your video, and I'm like, okay, I don't know. Because you could say, "Oh yes, that was on my third album," and I would say, "Oh, do you have albums?" So
Wax cylinder mostly.
do you have albums?
Yes.
And how many?
Oh,
Okay. Yes, yeah, it is. It is.
That's what it is. Yeah. I have how many albums? 8, I think now. Yeah.
Oh wow. I'm sorry. I would normally go back and do this again, but I can't because this is too great an interview. So she has 8 albums that I missed all of them, and but a lot of people haven't. So do they sell well?
I don't know. I think yeah, I think
Yeah.
they do.
And what the genre of music is folk?
No,
Uh,
kind of. Yeah. Okay. So
Okay, let's get serious.
I'm gonna get it together. So yeah, I sing some.
Okay, this is gonna be a good one, everybody. Thank you, cameraman. I don't even know the cameraman's name. I think it's might be Martha's husband, Andy.
Um. So, um. Yeah. So I write my own songs. I sing some folk songs, like some traditional folk songs, but most of the traditional ones I do are probably more Celtic ones. So Irish. So I was brought up, yeah, kind of by lots of parents, very hippie upbringing, but mostly by my mum, my stepdad, and she was an artist and he's a theatre director. But my dad, who I would go and visit quite often, was a songwriter. He is a songwriter. He still tours around. He's a great songwriter, and he was married to Maggie Boyle, beautiful Irish folk singer. So those are the ones. Well done. And so yeah, so Maggie was a massive influence on me and my dad as well, of course. Um, but I wouldn't say I'm folk. I just feel like I would just call myself a songwriter,
Right.
probably predominantly. And some of it's folky, some of it feels a bit more trip hoppy, jazzy, and um, I just follow the song sort of wherever it goes, different styles, mostly on guitar, and I sing and I try and sing about my life. I mean, not always. Sometimes there'll be a story in the news or something um, I just try and sing about nature. I would rather not try to, but I sing about nature a lot. It's really important to me, and yeah, just sort of an inward journey. Love. I write about love lots. There's lots of sort of sad love songs and some really hopeful ones, and Yeah.
Right. Well, I mean, it's so great not having a genre because why do we need a genre in life? You know, we don't need a genre of music. We don't need a genre of who I am or who you
Yeah.
are, and it's which is great. Yeah. So, you know, some of us are trained. Oh, so you're a folk musician, but you know, like I was saying before, my wife is touring with a band, and I have no idea what kind of music they do because it's so varied. You know, it's I do know that
You don't
band.
know.
No, I never even heard it. I think they have a couple
I
of
have a
albums.
wife.
Am I married? No, yeah, I am. I am. But yes, she singing about the earth. Do you know Seize the Day?
Yeah, yeah, I know them really well. Yeah, my bass player actually used to play with them. Yeah, so yeah,
Okay.
I know those guys. Yeah.
And my daughter just got back from Glastonbury, and she brought us to Seize the Day, and I know some of that music is good. I mean, it's so lovely to keep that music contemporary, talking about the times we're living in. I guess your dad as well, all of us, we've all lived in times that were pertinent, obviously, because we were growing up in them. But I think there's a lot to sing about now. So, just when you sing about, like you say, you sing about the earth, meaning environment on an environmental plane or on a what?
Yeah, and the thing is, I try not to with my songs ever say I have any answers because it's much more questioning. And like, I just try to sort of throw light on, oh, I do this. Do you do that? Like, oh, this feels weird that we're doing this on planet Earth. Or so it's much more sort of trying to sort of hold it lightly. We're questioning and not too blaming because I think a lot of us are just waking up out of quite a sort of an elongated, very sort of well, we've been enforced to be asleep for a long time to be able to wreck our environment. No other animal does that. That it's kind of almost like we've been sleepwalking through a period. I just feel I feel really quite optimistic at the moment. I feel like there's an awakening happening. I feel like we're waking up. Yeah, I feel quite hopeful actually, and I know that's not the math would be against that, but my heart really feels that. Yeah.
No, no, and it's great. I mean, we have to be, in every age, you have to be hopeful. Because you think if you were born in 1941 in England, you had no idea how long was this thing going to go on. But you were hopeful, and it did. It ended. But when you were in the thick of it, you think this isn't going to end. But of course, and this phase will end. And we'll move into a brighter phase because of that hope. And songwriters like you, bringing that to the fore. And when you play, do you play mostly in England or do you tour Europe?
I've toured Europe, yeah, mostly in England. I say UK. I've toured Europe and Australia quite a bit. Yeah, we seem to have a nice bunch of people that come to our gigs and play some nice big festivals there, and yeah, it's really good vibes. And they really respect songwriters over there. So like, in England, if you say you're a songwriter, it's somewhere above vagrant. It's not really. It's not. That's not fair. But it's not. I wouldn't say like it's not like it's not a massively respected profession. Like it's more like, oh, couldn't you do a proper job? Like you're not very good. Whereas but in Australia, it's yeah, it's really sort of respected. And so like at their festivals, you quite often have a round robin, which is really nice. They get the international artists up on the stage, and you sing a song each, and then you chat a little bit about songwriting and. People are really interested. How are songs written? Like it just feels really like it's yeah.
Well, it's an art. I mean, it's an absolute art, and it brings, people who say that like get a job don't realize how much song has shaped their life in some way, shape, or form. Unless they've been living in a bubble on a different planet, music has shaped their life.
Massively, and that's why at the moment it's I want to say in a positive way. It's really imperative that we support musicians and artists of any type, because apart from us just bringing respite from the pretty difficult situations that we're in sometimes in the planet, but yeah, bringing respite, bringing light, but also bringing questioning the systems in place. Art does that brilliantly. And I know that without funding, we'll always do it. It'll be the wildflowers that come up through the concrete, and I think, but if it was supported more, like, why is it Spotify can exist in that way it does? That literally, one time I got 40,000 plays in 1 month and I got 40 quid. What system is that? But the record company is still doing well out of it, so.
Yeah, I heard something weird like Peter Frampton, made $600 or something like that from Spotify. It's just like what?
I mean, I get by. It's fine. I support a family, and I feel really blessed, and I do what I love doing. If it's an absolute treat, I can't imagine anything else I'd rather do. Yeah, I feel really, really happy and really lucky. But I do know lots of musicians who've had to stop. And before they could earn a living out selling CDs or selling albums or downloads, and now it's just. So
I mean, did COVID have something to do with that?
this is before that.
Oh,
I mean, COVID's not. I think
I mean,
I
I
think
hope.
we may helpfully shove lots of things under the COVID
Yeah,
blanket.
yeah.
You know.
But I think a lot of, I mean, unfortunately, musicians did suffer, because live music was suffering, and concerts, and festivals and everything. So, that's a thing that we have to, yeah, like you said, we have to value our musicians.
Yeah, I mean, I loved it actually. I really loved having a break from
Yeah,
touring.
sure.
Because I worked out, I've been on stage since I was 6.5, like pretty much. Always I used to be an actor and so a child actor, and so I was in yeah always in a play and then drama school and then music and then touring. So it literally was the first time I wasn't, and it was just lovely, really.
Yeah.
And actually, not having any songs to write and not having not having to do anything, and then all these cornucopia of songs and ideas started to come up in the space that was there. It was lovely.
Well, and I hope, hopefully, a lot of people found that, in this part of the world, we're blessed with time. We have a lot of time, and I do what I love as well, but I do it once a week sometimes, and it's great. But because there's no pressures of living in a big city or big bills coming at you, and so that you do find a lot of people around here can find and live and do their passion. And hopefully, COVID has helped. If it's done anything, it's helped people like you to say, oh, maybe if I take more time, I come out. It doesn't stop my creative process; it enhances it.
Yeah, and I've been also writing film. This is another thing. So I wrote and directed and made a film. Just luckily, we finished the shoot before COVID. Thank goodness, because I think people have found systems and ways around it now. But for a while, it was really hard to do a film shoot with COVID. But yeah, so we made that one, and it felt like a real dream of mine to make this film and make a feature film and get it done and put it out there and then I thought that would be it. Like, I've just made it now. That's done. That's the thing I wanted to do. But since then, as well, another idea has come to me now about this. I'm starting to write the next one, and yeah, just having that pause from doing what I've always done, which is touring, touring, touring. Yeah, just maybe kind of sit back and go, well, maybe I don't call myself a songwriter. Or maybe I'll be a filmmaker. I don't know, like open up things or.
Well, again, labels. Who needs them? I've been a school teacher and a traveler, and and many a builder and whatever label at that time. That's what it only
I like the
means
sound of all those
something.
things.
Yeah, bike mechanic. So anyway, so Martha, you said you have kids. How old are they?
13, Zen's 13, and Honey's 10.
Okay. And you said you were a hippie family, but names like that, I wouldn't think. Sounds kind of mainstream.
Yeah.
So nothing to say about that, Zen and Honey. Hi, Zen and Honey. And so your mom, and so your dad, you were saying he tours America. You've never been to America, but your dad has toured America and still does.
Yeah, he tours a lot there. Yeah, yeah, Steve Tilston. Yeah, so he was like he was part of the '70s folk revival scene, and he played with. I mean, he's a great songwriter in his own right. And I feel like I don't want to attach him to other names. No, so I'm just not going to do that. You can look him up and see. But
Steve Tilston.
No.
Steve, you said Steve Tilston.
Tilston. Yeah. That's
Yeah. All right. Okay.
Stilton.
No, not the cheese. No,
Okay.
no. So, and I wanted to ask you the name of your film. I mean, you say you had a feature film, so let's hear the name of it.
It's called The Tape, and it's a film about a disillusioned songwriter who becomes Cornwall's worst cleaner, and she gets a job cleaning an empty house in Cornwall, and there happens to be a piano there and a 6-track recorder in the cupboard. So she secretly moves in / squats the holiday house she's meant to be cleaning, and records an album in the house. And it was really fun. It was a slightly crazy idea, but it was fun, but it did make more work. But we had this idea to record. So I'm playing Tally, the cleaner. In the moments when I record, my character is recording a song. I'm actually recording it. So I've got a feed going off to my producer in another room. So the soundtrack that comes with it was recorded in the actual action in the scenes. Yeah.
It's all live. I mean, it's all yeah.
Yeah. So there's a couple of tracks you can hear, like we had Steadicam. You can hear a little bit of movement.
And so where do we find it?
The tape. It's just called The Tape, like a cassette tape.
No, but where do we on YouTube? On how do we see this movie?
YouTube, iTunes, all that kind of streaming.
Download it.
It might just be in the UK at the moment. It's a bit annoying, isn't it? It should be Europe, shouldn't it? Hopefully Europe soon.
Right.
Let's sort that out by the time this comes out.
Okay, well, I'm sure there's people with ways to hide where they are.
The tape, the album you can get from Spotify and everywhere, really.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And your other albums, I'm assuming Spotify, the other the other 8 albums that you have. Yeah, great. So is Tape your 9th album then?
There's one that's not an official album. It's officially my 8th, but I think it is the 9th. There's one that we just put out under the radar and people copied. Yeah.
And how long have you been? So you said you've been on stage since 6.5, but like as Martha Tilston, recording artist, um, with these 8 albums. So how long has that part of your career been running?
Well, it started off with Mouse. So I was in a duo called Mouse, and yeah, just straight after college, we got. I was in quite a sort of dodgy. Excuse me, it's the laughing. It's still got it in my. Yeah, I was in a really interesting management sort of scenario where he'd pick me up in his gold Rolls Royce and take me off to a studio, and it wasn't right. And he'd get me to sing in an American accent and change everything, and it was but it was okay if I was American, but I wasn't. I came from Surrey, and it was. And it was just every time I bring a song, he'd go, "Yeah, I like this bit though. Keep that and take this out." And so it never felt like. And I really wanted to find out if my songs worked rather than just bits of them. And so I secretly got a duo together with this amazing guitarist called Nick Marshall, who he would just like play a few lines with this. He was very like Nick Drake in that kind of way of like, just he would just make it sing, he'd make you cry with a few notes. I mean, it was so soulful. And we just got this thing together, and we were walking through Glastonbury. We got backstage passes because we were helping out with something on the acoustic stage. I don't know, but we weren't there in a musician capacity. We were really young. We walked past the Small World solar stage, and we just asked if we can go on, and Nick knew the guy, and he went, "Oh, go on then." He put us on the stage. It was late at night. He said, "Someone hasn't turned up. You can just do a couple of songs." So we played, and he was like, keep going. And then we basically ran away with him. It's like running away with the circus. We went from May till September every year with this Bedouin tent, this stage, solar panel stage, and just went and travelled around, the country. Yeah, and so we got quite a big following with Mouse, and then that sort of, Mouse went into hibernation, I think is the best way we can say it. Right. It might come out one day. And then I just started doing my own stuff, and just started recording. And it was hard to sort of have faith in playing on my own when I've been playing such an amazing guitarist. But yeah, I had to just do that thing of sometimes you just got to leap, haven't you, to find out if you reach the other end. You certainly can't mid-air go, "I'm not sure I'm going to make it." You have to.
That's it. Yeah. No turning back.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, yeah. So interesting with the producer. Sounds like kind of have a cigar, Pink Floyd. It sounds like you're in that world. Okay, here's how we want you to dress. Here's how we want you to be. There's a lot of that in the music world.
To have a nose job, that was definitely the moment where it was like, I think I might,
Good. There you go.
In a way, it was really good. Like I feel like every single step in the path I've been grateful for, even the tricky bits, because I've never, since that moment, I've never craved the music industry. I've always felt like I'm just going to keep circumnavigate it. I just saw a little cat walking past, but I always feel like that's what I want to be. I want to be just a little cat going in the cat flaps and coming out and free to come and go. I don't want to be trapped in a house or trapped in a record deal. And I know that feeling from being really young in that situation. So since then, I just feel like I'm free. Like, there's no amount of money that could ever make up for that feeling.
Right. Or even trapped in fame, because you exactly, I could walk by you in the street and go hi, and then, but that's as as whatever a person in that world, I'm sure you crave it. Like we spoke about, some other famous musician who lived here to get away from the fame and glory of not being able to have a coffee without someone wanting to selfie or an autograph. I'm sorry, I'm assuming you don't have that problem, but maybe you do.
I don't know what to say.
Come on, say something.
I'm not going to say anything.
Okay, Martha. So that's good. So you came down to Southern France on holiday with Andy, and you wound up getting a stage at the Grand Jet, and here you are. And normally I do my interviews after the night of music. I'm so looking forward to this night of music.
Yeah, thank you. I've really enjoyed being interviewed by you, and having a good giggle. But this place is beautiful, and I feel really blessed that Ben and Kiki and the whole gang and Paul, who helped out as well, have just taken us under their wing in this beautiful place. Looking forward to it.
Yeah. Well, it's all about the moments. It's all about seizing those moments, and it sounds like that's what your music's about as well, and appreciating the planet we're all living on together, and we are living on it together, as we spoke about before the interview. Looking at, just tell me quickly about the Pearl. The song, The Pearl.
I have to play this song tonight, don't I?
Yes, yeah, I'm sorry. You must play the song.
It's called Blue Pearl, and it's just about that moment. there was a spaceman who was up in space, astronaut rather, who looked back at planet Earth and observed it looked like a blue pearl. And this song is just trying to get us to have a different perspective on, rather than sort of being stuck in the long grass, like, we were the animals that stood up in the long grass, rather than us all this trouble we make, just trying to either get up a tree or even take a view from further away up in space, just looking at us and, lovingly. But the answer is love. It feels like is the way. Everything else isn't working. That's the chorus. Nothing else is working. Let's try love. That's the plan now.
Right. Oh, great. Oh, that really gave me goosebumps, because do you know Khalil Gibran?
No, sorry.
He's a Libyan. He's a poet and amazing writer. Back probably 80 years ago or so, and he has a thing saying, like, the mountain climber can only see the mountain clearly from the plane. You know, So when you're on the mountain, you don't realize where you're on. It's like us. When that first picture of the planet came out, it just sparked a movement of, like, we're in this together.
One planet. Yeah.
Well, there you go. What better way to end the interview? One planet, we're in it together. That's Martha Tilston, still laughing, and Joe Diomede, TTRP TV. Thank you, Andy, for that lovely filming. You stayed with it with all the giggles, and tonight we look for a really good night of music here at the Grand Jet, as usual. Have a good night.
And I'm feeling kind of alone. There's a mountain inside of me, and I can call this place my home. Right now I'm a falcon. I'm circling out there with my bees. Meter waves, I need to see. And if I don't swoop now, if I don't swoop now,